On the Husqvarna Viking Designer Topaz 50, you have an option called Basic Design Positioning. In the embroidery stitch out screen, you will notice that you have a flower with 4 arrows. So what I've done is I've actually already stitched out this design, and we're just going to pretend that I've re-hooped, and now I need to make and hook up more of these designs. Yes, I could hook up about 2 per, I could do 2 of them at a time. But if I wanted to do a whole entire border for like a tablecloth or a header on some pillowcases, this design positioning I'm going to show you, these steps are going to allow you to hook it up and have endless embroidery. Okay, so here's the steps you need to follow. Now, go ahead and draw your lines, vertical and horizontal, across your entire length of fabric. By the way, this works great with the Husqvarna Viking Endless Hoop. That is an optional hoop that you can get from your dealer, and it makes it really easy to kind of rehoop it. It reminds me of like a copy machine. You know how with a copy machine you open up the top, you lay your paper down, and then you close it down? Well, that's how the hoop is. It's kind of on this hinge, and what you do is you embroider, and then when you're ready to slide it through, you lift up, you slide your fabric through, and then you clamp it back down. And it's great for repeating designs over and over. Well, I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way, really just by rehoop. Again, we're going to pretend that I've rehooped, and I'm going to add design number 2, and I'm going to hook it right to this point. Here's your steps. So you can leave the design on screen just where it is and go over to design positioning. That's the flower with the 4 arrows. We've been here before, like when we want to see where our design is going to embroider. We can go around the 4 edges. We can find the center of the design and so forth. What I am going to do is just kind of move the needle up into the top corner. I don't have to. Actually, I'm going to back up so I don't have to show you that part. Okay, so you have 2 steps to this. So step 1, okay, when you go here, notice your cursor turns red. What we want to do is put a lock point on the design. So step 1, we always look at the screen, and step 2 will be over here looking at the hoop. All right, step 1, I'm going to move the cursor to be right next to the stitch. Now I can get it close, but believe me, you need to zoom in. So touch the Alt button, touch the zooming option, and then touch the last one, the one where we can draw a box around, touch and drag, so we can zoom right into that area. Notice the cursor is not where we want it to be. So we can just go ahead, go out of Alt, go back to design positioning. So now wherever I touch, that cursor is going to jump to. Once you get it close, if you need to, use the arrows up or down to tap it into position. So if I want to be right on that, what we're going to do, that's going to place a lock to that area. That's step number 1 of design positioning. Step number 2, it's asking you, okay, where on the hoop do you want your needle to be? And so what we're going to do, let's go ahead and zoom back out. Okay, so touch Alt, touch Zoom. Let's see the whole entire hoop, and then go to Alt, back to design positioning. All right, we're in mode 2. Mode 2, we look over here on the fabric. So as I slide this down, we're moving the design into position. That's the idea of design positioning. And I want this needle. The needle right now is that point. If I line up this needle to this exact stitch that I want it to hook to, then it will put that design right into position here perfectly. So right now my needle, if I bring it down, okay, no, not really where we want to be. Okay, but I can go ahead, bring that needle down, and I can move it a little bit more on screen. I'm really close. Okay, oh, and it says raise needle, so good. I'll raise that up, all right? And then I can bring that in, okay, to exactly where I want it to be. If you're tapping it, it will let you do it with the needle down. All right, remember how close we were zoomed in? And right where that actual lock point is, that's where we want the needle to touch that point. So whether you're like a hair inside the stitching here, or really, you could definitely, nobody's going to notice if you're like 2 hairs into your previous design. The cool thing is it's going to be perfectly lined up all the way through. Okay, so once that is set, you are ready to go. If you wanted to kind of test around or kind of trace around your design, oh, raise needle, good, and see where you're going to be. You can see that that last part that just went straight up and down, that went right over my line that I had drawn. And now I'm ready to stitch again. Confirm with the green check mark. And now it's ready to stitch. Now notice your needle is going to jump way over somewhere else usually, and that's because it's going to go to the first stitch of this design. This actually has two colors. I sewed it in a monochrome feature, so I turned off the stop, or again I came over here and touched the monochrome feature. So I just did this first color and second color all the same. So I'll go ahead and start it. We'll just go ahead and let it stitch, and I'll show you how they line up once we're done. This is the coolest part, looking to see how perfect your designs lined up. So remember, the basic design positioning is available, and just with a little practice to work between those two areas and how to set it up to align will get you to be able to do this without any thought whatsoever.